Oh, wow, that's big. That's a lot of screen there. Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's webinar on cornering the market with rhinestones and vinyl. We're doing things a little bit differently tonight. If you have been to our webinars in the past, it's normally kind of a Coldesi centric thing. We have invited Mark Vila from the wilds of Coleman and Company, which is an office in another part of the building, to talk about the cut and press because Tracy Rogerson is going to show off the CAMS machine, and these two products work great together in helping you get the most out of every sale. But first, before we get started, I want to switch over to the screen here so you don't have to look at us for a minute. And I am going to give you a few tips on watching this webinar. First of all, when we switch back and forth between the camera and the computer screen, you will occasionally lose video. Just click away and click back again. And if that doesn't work, we probably can't help you. So you can try logging out, logging back in. Just let us know if you can't see something, and we'll talk slow for a few minutes while you catch up. You can ask questions at any time. If they're good questions, then we'll answer them during the presentation. If they're not awesome questions, then we will answer them afterwards. What you're looking at here is kind of I'm going to do kind of a tour of the available resources when you do business with Coldesi and Coleman and Company. And the first one, and one of our favorites, is the Custom Apparel Startups Facebook group. I definitely recognize some names from the Facebook group. If you are a Facebooker and you're just getting into or you're in the business, this is a great place to learn from your peers. We've got Angela here that's asking about, what's a good vinyl cutter to purchase, just getting started, and we're covering that in the webinar today. We've got a long discussion about pricing an embroidery job. We put up samples of our rhinestone work. There's questions about how to start a business, about getting into embroidery business, about pricing jobs, about digitizing, anything having to do with apparel decorating. You get to talk to 1,400 plus people that are in your situation, so they'll have a lot of good advice for you if you care to join. The next thing is for people who like to listen to their information. The CAS podcast, we just recorded episode 17 the other day. It's where Mark Vila and I basically talk about the business of apparel decorating, mostly from a marketing perspective. But we've got things like, creating a good customer experience, how to work on your business and not in it all the time. Don't waste money on marketing, and you've got to listen to that one to get that joke. Tripping over pennies is a great one about finding good prices for supplies and what that may or may not mean to your business. So there's a lot of great stuff on the podcast. If you would like to spend 3 hours reading it instead of an hour listening to it, you can just click on transcripts and you can read it as well.
And we had a new one coming out tomorrow.
Oh yeah, cool. I can't wait to wait. I was there when we recorded that one, so I already heard it. I heard it.
Yeah, but it's a good one.
Okay, the next one is CAS webinars. I hope that everyone that's here got to it through got to this webinar through this website, and you get to see everything that's coming up. If you look at all events, you can see a calendar of this month and maybe next month. I don't know if we have anything scheduled yet, but you get to see there's just a cut and press webinar. There's one on DTG printing. There's a lot of great stuff at caswebinars.com. Also, you will start to see better and more articles on our blog, on Coldesi's blog called Insights. And this is where we take some of the ideas that we've learned from our customers and we share them with you guys, like when supply costs don't really matter, top 10 questions about spangles. This was a good article on marketing to school, so back to school tips for custom apparel. So again, what we try to do at Coldesi and Coleman and Company is be a part of your business, not just be the equipment and supplies guys. Okay, any question about any of that stuff? There never is. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is Tracy is going to talk to you about the Pro Spangle machine itself. Then Mr. Vila is going to talk about the cut and presser. Oh, the Spangle? No. Let's do the CAMS machine tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She'll talk about the CAMS rhinestone machine. Mark will talk about the cut and press system and using vinyl. And then we will do some software demos and show you the results and talk about numbers. So that is it for me. I'm going to turn it over to what's her name back there.
Hi, everyone. If you're here, you're probably interested in doing rhinestones or you're already doing rhinestones. The Can's rhinestone machine is the perfect machine to start with. It's an automated machine that'll go 160 stones a minute. This new machine is compressorless, meaning you do not need anything to run it. You can take it to the mall, you can take it to craft shows, you can take it to cheer competitions, to baseball tournaments, and all you have to do is plug it in 110 and it works fine. It's very quiet. You have a large design space of 10 by 12, which if you're thinking of a full-size shirt or jacket back, you're not going to go any larger than that. If you are going to do a larger design, like say a large cross, you can do the first part of the cross, then the second part of the cross, and heat press them together. So there are ways to do even larger than what is available right now. It is a two-color or two-size machine. That doesn't limit you. You can do 30 colors. All you have to do is do it in the software. We do have videos on YouTube how to do that, as well as how to remove the hoppers and change the stones on YouTube as well. Basically, all it does is you put your stones in here, and the gun picks it up and lays it on the transfer paper.
Let me get a little closer there for everybody.
It lays it on the transfer paper, and then all you're going to have to do is heat press that particular design to the garment.
Yep. So the 1B2P comes with 2 hoppers?
It comes with 5 hoppers.
Okay.
You get 2 SS6, 2 SS10, and a SS16.
Cool.
That way you can do, a lot of more of the rhinestone designs are the smaller stones, 10 being the most popular. That way you have 2, so if you're doing a red and a clear, you don't have to switch out.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can do the transfer on a garment, or you can do the transfer by itself. A lot of people out there, and you may be one of them, they're not doing this via machine. They're buying from a supplier who sells them the transfers, then they just heat press it and call it their own, which is the middleman. It's 2 businesses you can have. You can have your garment business and you can have your transfer business, because people will pay for transfers. You get everything you need with this machine except a heat press. You do need a heat press, which we can provide you. You do get the hotfix software, which allows you to create designs from vector, from any design you see on the internet that's not copywritten, of course. You can take off and make it your own. Just put it in designs. The design that we're doing tonight is a very large design. It's a very large design, and this is actually a full fill. So it'll cost a little bit more than it would just to do the outline. But when you're doing a school that's the Tigers or the Pumas, whatever this is.
It's a tiger.
It's the big cats.
We've got the lions. We've gotten everything.
I think it's a bear.
It can be whatever you want it to be. But you can just do the outlines, and you're still getting a perceived value shirt that you can sell for $15, $20. This shirt, $35 easily.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have it on a nice Bella shirt, not on a Hanes Beefy or Anvil like we have it on. The rhinestones, we do not ask that you use cut glass or Swarovski type glass. We have Coleman & Company sells the hot fix Korean stones. It'll also do nail heads and rhine studs. And I always tell people, especially like last month with October, pink stones are the most expensive. So you can always use rhine studs. You're getting, the markup is huge and people cannot tell the difference.
So Tracy, we've got a question. What are rhine studs? What's the difference between rhinestones and studs?
Cost. A lot of it is cost.
Okay.
The rhinestones set up more. The rhine studs are flatter. And then, of course, you have nail heads, which are exactly what they
And they're
sound.
metal, right? They're no longer glass.
They're metal. You can have glass or silver. You can have brushed metal. You can have black. You can have gold. It's actually kind of a manlier thing you can do. If you wanted to put it on the back of, say, a biker jacket, or if here we have Gasparilla where people wear, and the Bucks where people wear skull and bones, and that's something that men would actually wear.
Hi, Jerry's got a question, and if anyone is having trouble seeing the video, you should be seeing Tracy right now. Just click away, and click back on, and if that fixes it, that's great. Okay.
You can also, with this machine, do rhinestone decals on cars, on glass. We've got a ton of cars out in our parking lot that have actually, like, you know, their daughter's schools. You can do a sorority. People will buy that, and they will pay big money. This is a perfect one that we did for Halloween. This is actually plexiglass.
Yep. And this is one we just made this evening.
Oh, we're very, very seasonal around here.
It's a couple. It's on the.
This is on real
demo.
glass.
And we just did a webinar before this where we showed how to make that, and we're gonna have that filmed as well. So for any folks that have one of these machines and want to see how we made the stickers.
Well, it's another market for your business. You're not just limited to garments. I mean, people will pay to put their sororities on the back of their cars. They'll pay for monograms, especially in the South. People love rhinestones.
Yep.
Any other questions?
All right. Actually, I think that's a good example of helping corner the market. Just by offering, when you can offer a cheer mom or a cheerleader a blinged out shirt, and then at the same time offer them a decal to go with it, to go on their car or their school locker. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Well, that's what I had said. I said take the logo or whatever you're putting on a shirt. If you can take a piece of that or a smaller version of it and put that on a sticker and put that sticker or decal in the box with the shirts you're delivering, somebody's going to say, that's awesome.
And
how much
we want 20 more for our whole team.
And they pay a lot for decals. You can get as much money for a decal as you can for a shirt.
Oh yeah. And the material's significantly cheaper too, and you can make them in little batches. It's nice.
Okay.
You can put rhinestones anywhere you can keep press. You can buy slip-on like tennis shoes, like heads, and put a cheer team on it. You can put it on felt boots. You can put it on canvas badge. You can put it on sports bra tops. You can put it on the itty bitty sports shorts at the
yoga pants.
Yoga pants.
Yeah.
Anywhere that's gonna say this is my team, this is my passion. People, especially kids, their parents. If one kid has them, they all want them.
Yeah.
So the rhinestones have a huge perceived value, and as long as you're not too pricey or not too cheap, and this business is so word of mouth as well. I mean, if you can't deliver in a timely fashion, people will go somewhere else and get it.
Yeah.
So you want to be fairly priced. You want to be quick. And again, this machine, you can while it's blinging out the design, you can be making your designs or packing orders.
Yep. And our customers here locally that do their whole business in 3 or 4 schools.
Oh yeah. Schools, sororities, you can do, especially now that Christmas is coming, go to IKEA, get the pillowcases, throw pillows, get the pillow inserts, do a big Santa face, do a big Christmas tree. You can get $35, $40 for that, and it probably costs you less than $13 the whole thing.
Yep.
The whole thing.
It's a great business.
It's just thinking outside, thinking what people will pay for, not to mention the necessities.
Okay. All right, so the next part of what we're going to do, unless anybody has any questions right now for Tracy, is we're going to get Mark Vila to talk about the GraphTech cutter, and then we'll move on to the software and how you make all this stuff. Okay?
Yeah,
Mr. Vila.
Mr. Vila.
I'll step right here.
Okay.
Okay, so with the cutter here and the way that this works, I'm going to speak as simple as possible on it and kind of get into a lot of details. Some of you folks might already be using vinyl materials in a cutter, so you might know a lot of this. But if you don't, you should learn, and hopefully you learn something more even if you are currently a user. But the way that this works is we take a graphic, so any type of JPEG image, a bitmap image, a logo, a vector file that you might have created in the software that comes with the unit, whatever it would be, and you put it into the software. When you put it into the software, you convert it to lines. Those lines are actually an outline of what you're going to cut. There's a small blade on this, and when you create those lines and you tell the machine to cut, it's actually going to cut out those lines. And we've got it cut out here. And I have my little test design that we created here. So what it does is it actually cuts these little lines out and creates an area that you can actually peel some of this material off, and you end up with a transfer. And we take that transfer and we put it onto a t-shirt just like you would with rhinestones or anything like that, and you heat apply it. When you heat apply it, it takes a few seconds, you peel it off, and now you've created a printed, type of garment. And I have an example right here.
Yep.
So here's one that we did a sports jersey. So we did a different tiger for this one. Here's a different design. You could do multi colors. You could layer them on top of each other. There is, here's the back where we did a 2-color name and number. Well, there we go. That's a better way to see it. This is on a moisture wick material. So this material will work on cotton, moisture wick, jerseys. You could do the sports shorts that have the little holes in it that are aerated. You can do it on sweatpants. You can do it on a jacket, on a t-shirt. You can do it on just about anything, which is fantastic about this material, is the limitations are minimal. Here's something that we actually just made today. When we were making that sticker, we talked about making shirts too. So we took a tree and we put it on a shirt and made it a Christmas tradition. So here's one using glitter vinyl, and as we can see here, and rhinestones. So this is just such a cool look, and this is a way that you might not be able to really get the exact look that you want in rhinestones with, say, smaller lettering like that, or even going smaller than that if you needed to. You might not get it, and that's where having the ability to put on vinyl or glitter is really, it's needed.
Yeah, and here, look, here's the thing about rhinestones is there are not very many guys that will wear this rhinestone shirt to a game to support the team. So what happens in a lot of businesses, if you're just in the rhinestone business, is that you're only going to sell to the soccer moms or the football moms or the cheerleaders, and will have nothing to offer to the guy standing next to them.
And I own shirts for my son's Little League. I own shirts that have got his team logo on the front and his name on the back, and his number on the back. I own probably 4 of them. And if my wife would just had a rhinestone one and she was going somewhere that just sold that, I would have gone somewhere else to buy the shirts. If they're already your customer and they're already willing to give you money, why not get as much of that business as you can and do something that's for the guys and the gals and the cheer moms and the cheer dads and the baseball moms and all of that.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to do all of it. Besides the fact that there are just some things that are going to be more of a challenge to do with rhinestones that just like any other type of apparel decorating, you can't do certain things with the glitter vinyl that you can do with rhinestones. You can't create the same look. So the add-on to do this to your business is just, it's so easy, it's so small, and it's so simple to work with that it's really a must.
And it effectively doubles your market, your potential market, just by having both items.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Did you want to show off the software now, Mark? You can start by doing that. Okay, good. I'm going to switch you back over. Remember, if you guys have any questions, just ask them as we go along. All right.
We're here. I'll take the mouse.
We're here. There's about 14 miles of wire and 4 tables and a couple of stands back here. So
there's 4 people.
Yeah, 4 people.
All right. So this is our finished product. Okay. So I'm showing you the finished product, and then I'm going to show you how we started that all off. Well, so as I mentioned, as we zoom in here, these are just lines. These are lines that are physically being cut out by the machine. So just imagine this is a template where if you were to have scissors or a razor blade, and you'd be cutting it out, except it's a machine doing it for you. And it moves fast. It's going to cut out all of those lines, all these big lines in less than a minute. So it blasts through it. Well, let me show you how it works. Now, this is the software. If you're getting a CAMS machine, this is the software you're going to get. So I'm going to work in that software. However, you will also get this secondary piece of software, which I've made the design in as well. This is just for the cutter, so this isn't going to do anything with the rhinestones, but you can do it in both, and it's basically the same thing. I mean, it does it the same way. The buttons are just in different places, but you will get the same end result. Both of them are just as easy to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up an image. Okay, I've got this tiger. By the way, this is just a JPEG image. It's 738 kilobytes. It's not a massive file. It's not super high res. This could be something that you got off a website, somebody emailed you, you got it off of a catalog of stock images, you got it from a stock image website. It doesn't matter where you get the graphic, as long as, of course, you're doing things legally from a copyright standpoint. But any graphic just about will work. So we'll open it up, and now we see we've got this tiger. All right, so we can adjust the size just like you can in any other graphics software. All right, and then now, but we still have just a regular graphic. This isn't ready to cut. If I go to cut, the machine's not going to know what to do. We need to convert this over to cut.
Now,
so go ahead.
Did you already mention that this was the software that comes with the cams?
Yes, this is what comes with it. So you're using the same exact software that you have with your cams to create this.
Yeah. So you're learning one software package to do the men's and the women's.
Yes, to do both.
Okay.
To do both, and then you can take this same image and then convert it to rhinestones in a few clicks as well. And Alan will talk about that. But we're going to convert it to a vector. So we click that, and we hit vectorize. And as simple as it looks, I mean, it is that simple. If it's multiple colors, 4 or 5 colors, there's things you can adjust in here. You know, you can reduce and change the colors, and you can adjust things to make it look good. But for most logos and images, 1, 2, 3 colors, there's not a lot you have to play with. So we're going to hit return here, and now it's a vector. If we zoom in close, you can see the lines that have been drawn. All right, so now we're just going to take this. We have 2 pieces of it, 2 colors, as you can see. I'm going to make it into 2 colors, I should say. So I'm going to just change it to lines because we don't need to fill anything in. We're not printing anything. I only care about the lines. And then I'm going to choose the color. So I'm going to make this inside one silver, and I'll make this outside one, change it to lines.
But that doesn't matter when you output the design, right?
No,
it's just so you can see
so
it.
we can save it and know what we did next time.
Yep.
You know, I know that I'm going to do red and silver, so I chose red and silver. I could do nothing with the colors and still get the same result.
Okay.
And still only cut what I want to cut because I can select this. By the way, we're done. We're done. We're going to hit it. We're going to hit it send to the cutter. You know, what I would do, of course, ahead of time, which I've already done, is I would go in and look closely, make sure it makes sense. What I want to cut makes sense. So I can cut the whole thing. If I cut the whole thing, it's just one color. If I'm going to do it in all red, I can cut the whole thing out, and it'll cut both colors. Or I can choose what I selected, which I only selected the outside or the red. It wouldn't matter if it was one color or 2. I only selected that area. I can choose where I want to cut it, and I can hit include a frame if I want to, and that'll cut a little box around it and make it nice, easy to separate your designs if you're doing, say, 20 of these. And I'm going to hit send. And literally, it's going to cut this out for us. So, and that's about it. What I'd like to show briefly is take a piece of vinyl, pop it in the machine, and just show how I would cut it.
I like that.
Yeah. So, and then I'll let Alan jump in and go there.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So maybe I'm going to do the inside. I cut the outside. I was going to cut the inside real quick because I'm going to actually have to do that. I'm just going to select that. That's all I want to cut. I'm going to include a frame. And then, you want to switch to a camera?
Yeah. Let's give you a look.
Might as well. This one's actually so fast that if we don't switch to the camera, it'll be done before you do it.
Okay, hang on.
Where are you? Oh, you probably have to close that little dialog box.
Right. I have to go all the way out.
Where did everyone go?
Everyone left. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, it's on the left side.
It's because I minimized it. We're really good at this, folks. We do this. We do this for a living all the time.
All right. Let me just show you how quick it. So I already cut out the one when I was prepping it, And now I'll pull that out, and I don't need it. This is red vinyl, by the way. It's white on the back. Here's my silver color. And literally this is, you put it in the machine. There's some guide markers where you can line it up. It tells you where it's a safe place to put it. There's guides here. We lock it down, and I let the machine read what size I put in. I could take something like this and put it in there if I was only at a little stretch.
Or you could put a big roll back there if you were doing a lot, right?
Exactly. So I'm gonna move it over a little bit actually, because I wasn't paying attention right, but there we go. All right. So now I'm gonna open up my software real quick, and I'm just gonna cut it out. So I'm gonna leave off where we saw, where I hit File, and then I hit Send it to the cutter, and I'm gonna put the selected part because I only need to cut out the eye, and I'll hit Send. And then it's going to ask me, do you want to send it to the Graph Tech? And I'm going to say, yep. And it's going to say, make sure the machine is ready, which it says ready right there. And then I'll hit cut. And where are we?
Click anywhere down there.
There we go. And it's cutting it out. And that's about all it does. This little piece right here will probably take 30 seconds or so to cut out, and now this is ready to put onto a shirt as soon as this is done. We just need to take the material off that we don't want, which will be like this. So when we come back after Alan does his demo of the software for the other, then we'll be ready to show what the shirt looks like.
Great. All right, hang on. I'm going to switch it back.
And that's done right now, by the way.
Sweet. All right, Alan.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to actually show you how to create rhinestones out of the same image. So what I will do is I will go open up a new page, and I'll go to File, and I'll go to Open, and I'm going to open up a graphic design. And I am going to use a JPEG image of this tiger design. It's actually on my Kingston thumb drive. And when creating a design for rhinestones, there's only 4 steps that you need to do. Number 1, we need to bring in a graphic. Now, graphic could be a JPEG, it could be a GIF, it could be a PNG, it could be a target image, it could be a bitmap.
Target image. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Target. And, or you can actually have a vector. So if you're more inclined to use Adobe Illustrator or CorelDRAW, you'll have the tools to create vector files right there. You don't need those 2 software platforms because you can convert, as Mark showed you, you can convert this object into a vector as well.
You know what? Before you go on, Mark, did you talk about where this image came from?
This image, no, not yet. Specifically, we got this image from Action Sports. So Action Sports is a sports image collection that we sell. It's got hundreds and hundreds of mascots and all of that. And that's a design collection that we sell in addition to maybe about 6 or 10 others.
Great.
All right, so one of the first things I did, step number 2 is actually editing my image, okay? Prepare my image to actually how I want it to be for rhinestone. So the first thing I do is inspect my image, and you can see, because we are using a JPEG image, around the edges, it's very unclean. You can see it's very jagged. We actually don't have black on the edges anymore. We have a gray. So what I like to do, even if I was going to convert this to vectors, like to clean my image up and reduce as many colors as I need to. So to do that, you have a color reduction tool that shows up as soon as you click on the image. See, right, when I click on it, it comes up right here. And if I do a fast preview of this image, we'll see that there's more than just 2 colors that the human eye can see. You can see that we have several different styles of silver, gray, all the way to black that are actually enveloped in this image. So what I'll do is I will reduce the colors to the basic primary colors, which is my white and my black, and I will hit filter, and now you'll see that we'll only have 2 colors listed here. So now when I look at the image, you can see that my edges right now, even though they're jagged, they're actually very sharp. So the next thing I want to do is actually I want to convert this to a vector. To convert it to vector, now that I cleaned it, I just simply click on Convert to Vector, and it will read the file as a 2-color file. And it's asking me what my transparent color will be. Anything that's chosen as a transparent will be omitted from the design. For instance, if I click on black and I click on vectorize, you'll see the black will disappear from my image and only the white is available. Can't see it on a white background, but it is there. If we choose no transparent background, then all the colors that are in this design, the white and the black, will remain intact. I click on return, and you can see that if I change the background color to a red, you see that I do have all the colors available. Now I can go ahead and click on the whites and delete them from my image. And now this bottom section here is actually part of this internal part of this tiger, and I don't want to delete it because now I just have that. So I want to use this for rhinestone. So what I'm going to use is a vector tool called split vector. It's going to allow me to cut this piece out. I'm going to go to split vector, and I'll just go from a neutral area. I'll just go right through. I'll just follow the contour edge of that black. And let me just backspace one time. I just want to place that node a little bit correctly. I'll just come out here, and I'll cut right along this leading edge, all the way up to the other side. And once I do that, I hit enter, and I conveniently cut that piece out just like that. Now what I'm going to do is cut this out a little bit, just clean it up a little bit further. This is all part of your step 2. So I'm just going to come right across here, a little bit more artistic this time. And I'll just go just like this right out to the neutral. I can cut this piece out, get this piece out. You do have nodes here that I could actually move and conform the shape to the way I want it.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm not too worried about that. Now we have our image. Okay, we've got a little white piece here. I'm just going to delete. Click on it and delete.
Which, by the way, you could do all of this for the vinyl as well if you wanted to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And delete both pieces. So now,
because we just did the outside part of the line, and just the eye. If we wanted to have a third color in, we would have done this stuff.
Right. So now what we have, now we have to size our image based upon what the client wants. We'll say our client, the size of the design I did on this is actually a little bit over 9 inches. So if you select your image and go to the layout, right over here is your sizing tool. So I'll just type in 9.047, almost 9.1. It resizes it proportionally. And now we can actually convert all the objects to rhinestones, and that's just part 3. To do that, I go to the Hotfix tab here, and I'll set up my catalog of stones I intend to use. Sweep out the basic, the default palette. I'll choose a standard stone, okay? And I'll choose my first size stone will be an SS6, and I want that to be clear, and I'll add it to my palette. I'm going to choose an SS10 stone, and we'll choose the light cyan, and then add that to my palette. Click on accept, and you can see now I have the 2 stones available.
Now, once again, this is just for visualization because the CAMS machine doesn't know what colors you
It's
picked
colorblind.
Right.
All it knows is what stones I've used, where they're placed, and what hopper they are going to be running from, the left hopper or the right hopper. So now what we're going to do, we're going to convert all the objects to stones. And to do that, what I'll do is I'll turn on simulation mode here, and I'm going to go ahead and choose my first stone I want to use. It's going to be the clear. And I will go to Smart Design because we are using a vector. And I'm going to choose a fill pattern. And you can see you have 6 different styles of conversion to rhinestones. You could do a path file, which I'll show you how to use. Our basic fill pattern will just push the stones into that design as many I want. You have a lot of different texture styles like this inner ring fill. There's also an outer ring fill, which is an option. You have this flexible fill, which allows me to define the fill pattern, which is a cool tool to use. Your regular grid pattern, and this Hotfix grading tool, which actually allows you to go from a dense area to a more sparse area in rhinestones, gives you a nice dynamic effect.
So basically you can take the same design, the same graphic, and make about 15,000 different variations.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if that's not enough, we also have Hotfix texture tools here, which allows me to go ahead and change the design into a more complex texture, like adding multiple color stones within a solid object. With different geometric shapes and stuff like that. So we're going to use the number 1 tool, which is going to be the Hotfix fill. And I'm going to, let me just move that aside. First thing I want to do is choose what I want to apply that to, all the white, choose uniform fill, and there's the stones. And you can see I'm going to turn off my vectored image, and you can see the stones now. Now what I want to do is actually come over here to the object inspector here, and then change my bead spacing. Right now we're set to 15. If you were doing flock material, like a brush and break system, you'd probably want to keep a 15 to 14 or 15 spacing on there, just so your circles don't overlap. Since we're using the automatic rhinestone machines, we could take this baby all the way down to 3 and get a nice tight fill.
That's a big difference in the look.
Okay, you get a lot more detail with it. Okay, so now we'll turn back on our vector here, and now what I want to do is I want to choose the next color, which is going to be the red. I'm going to click where the red's going to go. Let me turn off. Let me just turn off the hotfix so I can choose the black, and I will choose this as well. Okay, there we go. And we turn on the hotfix here, and then we'll use the uniform fill again. And there's the red. I will change my bead spacing to something more like 5. And in order to get that little object in here, I will need to turn off the hotfix because the hotfix is a layer on top of my image and won't let me select it. Click on it and uniform fill it one more time, and we'll set that to 4 as well.
Could you make it a default bead spacing?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Whatever the bead spacing I used last time, the next time I open up a new page in the Windows, it will, in the design platform, it will save it.
Okay.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'll turn off my vector file, and let's change my background color to something a little bit more easier on the eyes.
Thank you.
There we go.
Cool.
And now what we want to do, another nice thing about this software, if we want to make a child or adult, different adult sizes, I could select that and then resize it. And right now this design has 4,007 stones down here, as you can see. When I resize up, all the stones that you will need to fill that in will actually be added to it. If we want to decrease the size of the object, and I'll just grab the right here, maybe for a kid's design. Boom.
Nice. So that's another corner of the market thing.
That's right.
Do a larger design for mom, and then if there's a daughter, then you could do the smaller one for a small T-shirt.
You got it. A couple ways you can actually do this design. Let's go ahead and delete this. Let's have a little bit of fun, okay? Let's turn back on our vector. Let's grab this and then change it to a red so we can see it. Okay, there's our design. And let's say we're doing a mixed media event, a vinyl with rhinestones, okay?
Yep.
And you could do that. First of all, you would actually set your artwork up for the cutter, so you would cut that out. Now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to combine these two objects together, okay? Actually, I just want to use the primary outline of the job.
Red, right?
Okay. So what I want to do is you don't want to put rhinestones on top of vinyl because you'll have the propensity to melt the vinyl and have a lot of mess ups. What I want to do is I want to put the rhinestones on a leading edge around this object and then capture your visual on the vinyl inside. The rhinestones is more of an embellishment that brings your attention more into the focal point of the design, which would be the vinyl, of course. So in order to do that, what we do, we click on our image, and we're going to add a contour with offset. Now, what a contour with offset is actually an extra line outside of our object. And the only tools you have here is you want to do it outside of the object or inside of the object, whichever one you're doing. Because we're actually going to do it outside, we're going to keep it on our offset. We can actually change the color of our offset, whatever we want. You can choose whatever you want to do. And this here is how much spacing away from the object we want to place this. Lowering this number, and make sure number lock is on, 0.0. There it is, 0.150. My line will get a lot closer, okay? So now I'll just choose OK. And there's my contour line. Now this is going to be my rhinestone, okay? So I just simply click on the stone color I want, click on the line, and then use my hotfix path here, and it'll put stones right on that line.
That's cool, and it did it on the inside and the outside.
Yes, yes. Whatever,
because there was an opening in the design.
Wherever the shape is. So as you can visualize, this is exactly what my design is going to look like when we cut it out. Okay?
So I mean, that's a great option because now you're using vinyl and you're using rhinestones and you're getting kind of a unique look.
You get a higher perceived value when you add multiple design elements on your garment. It actually increases your profitability up, I don't know, what, 60, 70% in some markets, even higher in other areas. But it does add an extra value, which a lot of people that are doing rhinestones will not be able to match. So it makes you very competitive in your market area.
Well, just like if you put the red glitter vinyl in there, it would not cost a quarter as much as it would if you filled it with rhinestone.
Right.
You got
and
it.
It would still be.
You still have bling. Yeah.
You got it. And then, of course, just to show you one more time, we'll click on this one here. We'll add the same contour offset, and we'll go to, we'll keep it the same. We'll just change this to a white so I can see it. And we'll go a little bit closer. We'll go to 0. Let's go 100, okay?
It doesn't like the
0.100. And hit OK. And now we have a closer line there. And then again, just click on it. Use your Smart Design tool. Click on it.
That's awesome.
And there you have it. Turn off the vector. This is what we created. Now all I got to do is change my bead spacing to match the outside. And 4. Keep hitting the number.
Yeah.
There we go. The last step of the design is actually proofing the design and checking for collisions. Whenever we have color meeting color, we're actually going to see these collisions here. Ways we can do that is just click on the objects, change the node position. Okay, maybe just come right in a little bit more. This is a little bit more manual. If you don't want to do those steps, which you can do, there's an automatic tool within the software which will find these overlaps within it. And it's actually, if I deselect my object and click on Solve Overlaps, you can see that it puts X's and lists the overlaps right here. You can just click on Solve and it'll delete those overlaps for you. Once the design is done, now all we got to do is send it to the machine, and that's simple. With a USB thumb drive capability on the 1B2P, you can save this to a thumb drive and import it that way, so you can put multiple designs on a USB stick
and just
then run and just feed it, feed it rhinestones and transfer.
I want to point something out really important. We've seen like the creation of a great rhinestone design, a great vinyl design, men's and women's T-shirts, different sizes. Did anybody see CorelDRAW or Illustrator or any one of those $1,000 or $1,500 graphics packages that most people think you need?
Yeah.
No, it's the Hotfix Aero software that comes for free with or is included with the CAMS machine. Tracy.
If you want, we can go ahead and finish this design that I showed you guys a little earlier.
Let me get in close so they can
And
see
you
it
can
actually run.
watch it.
Yeah. Hang on. Sorry if you get motion sick.
Seriously. You can hear actually how loud it is with the windows open or with the doors open, and we're going to go ahead and shut them too so you can hear how quiet it is.
And it's cool to be able to see the gun actually pick up individual rhinestones and put them down in a specific spot.
Again, you can have this in a wall, and no one's going to complain about the noise.
Tracy, we do have a question. Any special power requirements?
It's 110 plug-in ready. The only thing we tell you is not to use your heat press on the same breaker because the heat press uses more ampage.
Right.
But it's 110. There's nothing special you need.
So you could put this in a back bedroom easily.
Put it in a bedroom. You could put it, again, you can take it to a baseball tournament, set up a tent as long as you have a power outage. I know where we play baseball, where they do, like they sell baseball jewelry and stuff, it's around where the concession stand is, and they have plugs. People like actually plug in their cell phones while their kids are playing baseball.
So that's the process. And the machine operates at, you said, 100 and...
It'll go 160 stones a minute. If for some reason you were out of stones, the gun would try and pick it up a few times and then it would stop. That way you weren't continuing a design without stones. And another good thing is it's especially good here in Florida since we have a lot of storms and lightning strikes. But if your power goes off for some reason and you have almost finished a 3,000 stone design, you do not have to worry about starting at exactly the same place or the fact that you may lose it all because it will go directly back where it ended, which is a great tool.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's what we did is we got this design partially done and then just set it up so it would continue.
Right.
And I, by mistake, actually unplugged the machine to move it, not even thinking about where the design was.
See, if you have a storm or if you have a mark.
Yeah, right. Either one of us. And just as a reminder, why don't you hold up?
This is the finished product. Again, this is full of rhinestones. it's a huge design, as you can tell. It's over 3,000 stones. This is something that people will pay $35, $40 for. You can just do the outline and do the red glitter vinyl.
Yep.
You could do a red outline and do the silver glitter vinyl. Mixed media is huge. I see people doing the glitter vinyl with rhinestones a lot, and people love it.
Yeah, honestly, when you go to the mall now and you look at rhinestone designs and things like that, they're always crystal and they're always just outlines.
Right.
So this is a really unique opportunity for you to make money in a high value market.
And think of you in the stands with this. You're going to get looked at. People are going to ask you, where did you get that?
Absolutely. That does look great. All right. Any other questions? Just type them in, and we are going to move the camera around to Mr. Vila again. There he is.
Thank you.
No problem.
Sounds done.
It sounds
Dinner's
done.
Well, while we're here for a moment, Mark had mentioned about, so we had cut out that piece, and I just took my scissors and I cut it out from what we had cut just here. And he had mentioned about how we prepare this part of it. So what they're doing now at the rhinestone machine is they're taking the back of the transfer paper, they're putting it back together, and they're putting that aside so it can go over to the heat press. What we need to do with our vinyl that we cut is pull off the vinyl that we don't need anymore. As I mentioned, we cut out some lines. So we take a tool which allows us to lift up some of the areas and pick out the parts we don't want. And really just what we're doing is peeling off what we don't want and what we don't need. And then there's a little spot in the eye. And that's how we separate the pieces of vinyl for use. And then now I'm going to put it on with our heat press real quick. We'll just put it right onto the shirt because that only takes a couple seconds. So I might as well show you. Mark, would you care pointing us over here?
I would be happy to.
Okay, so we've got 2 colors and 2 pieces
Hang
on the vinyl that we're working with because each vinyl is a color in and of itself. But it's quite easy to work with multiple colors. So we take our first piece right here. And what's great about this is you just do a quick tack down, and that's it. And that's done with that. And what we've done is we've taken the glue and told it to stick to the shirt. And then now we need to put on the tiger's eye. And I'm going to, wait, which is the right eye? This is the right eye. There we go. And we put that on at the right angle in the right spot, which is right about there. Right
That's
here.
a lot of rights.
Yeah, we line this little dot right here.
Can't see
you
it?
can't see. That's where my lineup point was
Okay.
in the artwork.
Gotcha.
I always look for a point to line it up with, and we're good. And then now I'll use a piece of release paper or transfer paper on the top here to just protect my heat press in my shirt.
That's a great heat press for the 1B2P, by the way. It's light enough, and it's
To take it somewhere.
to take it
Yeah.
somewhere, exactly.
And this, we just need 10 seconds. In that 10 seconds, we're curing the vinyl to the shirt. It's going to stick, and as soon as we're done, we'll take this off. And men's shirts are created simply, and if we were going to do names, I would then flip this over, and I would put the name and the number right on the back.
That's awesome.
about it.
So let's lay these out on the table here so you can see.
You can pretend husband and wife
Well,
at the Friday night football game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
that man, that looks outstanding.
I
So-
think if you had a package price, like if you actually offered before people even asked, one for your husband or your boyfriend, one for you, and did a family package,
Yeah, one for your son and one for your daughter,
right?
both in just smaller sizes. I mean, that is taking one phone call or one opportunity for bling or for custom T-shirts. By the way, you can do both of these technologies on caps as well.
Right.
So caps, bags, shoes, men and women's T-shirts, kids wear. I mean, that is cornering the market for, with 2 pieces of equipment that are professional but simple to use and 1 software package.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. What would something like this cost? That is the big question.
I would say for 2 adult shirts, a man and a women's, I'm going to say without a name, I would say you could get at least $50 for both of these, and you're still probably making 30.
And I think that's it for our webinar tonight. The first time we've shown the cams 1B, 2P and the
With the
cut and press together, and the first time that Mark Vila and Tracy Rogerson have ever been on camera together.
Wow.
So that's
There's a first for everything.
that is a historic event. Thanks everyone for attending. We appreciate it.